in the heart of a major city, in a place raised to honor Earth's past protectors, the world will again learn, sometimes, superpowered intrigue doesn't stop at the grave. Galaxy Memorial Park, Volume 1, beginning crowdfunding Memorial Day 2025.
The Madness Comic Network and comic-related madness proudly presents Madness Tuesday Morning Brew. Tune in to our content on Comic Talk with Pops Van Zant on YouTube.
Good morning. Thank you, everybody, for attending my TED Talk. I'm Laurie Calcaterra, writer, creator of Path of the Pale Rider. I'm just kidding. We're going to have coffee, have a good time. I'm really looking forward to today's show. Tom Hutchinson is here, and I think he is going to be battling Corissa Grant for the title of person to be on the show the most in 2025. We will have to see how that turns out. But yeah, we're having a great old time. Oh my gosh. Path of the Pale Rider. Let's see where we at. We are less than a week out from launch. Let me show you guys. I promised I would show you guys interior pages. So here we go. So I wanted you guys to see, of course. Now, when we do the launch party, I'll always walk you through like where all the exclusives are because I did something different. I have like unique items this time and I put them someplace special. So I'll walk you through, but let's go to issue 6 so you guys can see what the interior pages look like. Dun, dun, dun. So at the end of issue 5, spoiler alert, we were escaping the town of Santa Claus, which had burned down in a fiery tornado of blister beetles. And Jude and Dwayne Fink barely made it out alive, only to get kicked in the head and knocked out. Of course, the cliffhanger. So here we are waking up, and there was something at the end of issue 5 that was kind of cryptic. It was some Spanish, and it was El Campamento Cadaver te espera, which is Camp Cadaver waits for you. So here we are in Camp Cadaver. We got some some juicy undead. I love that Dwayne is there, and he keeps trying to talk, even though he's has a gag in his mouth, doesn't care. But this is a great line right here. It's like the Campamento Cadaver is ruled by Bandito Miguel Blanco. So that's who you're about to meet, which is this guy who is a bad day. He's kind of gnarly looking. He's missing 2 fingers and an ear and is blind in an eye, and he's not taking no for an answer. So this poor lady. She didn't stand a chance. Jude sees all of it, and of course, now he's in the crossfire. So I started sharing that meme where, was it Ralphie from The Simpsons sitting on the bus where he's like, ha, 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 I'm in danger. Yeah, that's very much this issue. So I just wanted to give you guys that peek. I'll share more on the website, of course, and on social medias. But here is the link this is the link, my friends, to go sign up for pre-launch. I mean, at this point, if you sign up, it's great. And if you don't, it's no big deal. We're launching on Saturday. You'll be there anyway. That's how we do it. So let's bring in my guest for the day, my good buddy, Tom Hutchinson. Good morning.
Yeah.
Writer, creator, shark enthusiast, and soon to be owner of a knitted hat by Laurie Calcaterra. If I can ever get it right. Do you want to see him?
Yeah.
I told you I would show you the misfortunes.
Yes.
So I forget, how did this even come up? I forget we were talking about hats, cat hats, shark hats.
You just out of the blue were like, I'm going to knit you a cat hat. I don't know what the reason was.
I forget. There was a reason, and it was on Carissa's show on Monday that we were talking about it. And then I was like, I'm just gonna knit you a hat. They're easy. And maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, when I was knitting, I could have just done it in like a day, right? And then I was like, I'm gonna knit a hat, and then totally forgot how to knit. So here's the first one, which is way too big. I'll show you.
Oh yeah,
I was like, if I could, make the ears, but it's like it's really wide here, where it's like this is insane.
That's Andre the Giant hat.
Yeah, I mean, like your head is not this big. It's not.
No,
I found someone.
I promise it's not.
But so I mean, like the pattern itself is fine.
But yeah, if you could put a little stitch to sort of make the ears.
That was what the intention was for this, except for I was like, it's just a mess. So I started over, and I found this really cute hat that like it was it had like ear flaps.
Yep.
And then you sewed the ears onto it. But I was following the pattern, and I think the pattern was flawed, because when I put it together, I mean, this one fits a lot better, but like this color is supposed to be like down to here, and it told me to bind off and start a new color. And I was like, it's not a bad fit, and with some ears it would be okay. And I made the little.
But you've got giant forehead on that.
That's it. So I was like, I could do this one again, because this part took me like 2 hours. But when I switched to knitting needles, this took like another 2 hours. So I was like, this doesn't make sense. So I'm just gonna try again. Start with, just continue the crocheting a lot farther, and then maybe just do like the last inch. But this fits a lot better. This would fit a lot better. But then I actually have to construct the ears and sew them on.
Yep.
So, but I have like the little circles ready to put. Yeah. They look like little speakers. You can't see it, but I would sew them into the little ears. So
I think you're on the right track.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, well, I'm so out of practice. And then I was like, you know what else I need? I need a yellow crocheted hat with ear flaps, so I can wear it with like my yellow Big James hoodie. Yeah, with some bear ears. So this is an idea. You need a drawstring in that hat. I know. It's like you put elastic in it, it'll just look funny.
Yeah, that's just a purse now. All that is you need to put some handles on it, and it's a purse.
Mean, it could be.
Yeah.
I was like, what else could we do with this? Because it's so odd shape.
It's just a bag. You just made a bag.
Right. I think you're right. I think I can get like some handles and turn it over, and that would be cute. Or it could even be like the inside. If I could line it with.
Or if you can open up the bottom, like just undo the bottom, and then it's just a tube top.
Not for those of us that are well endowed, sir. That's an accident waiting to happen. Hey, I might get some more views on the show, though. Check out my tube top.
I'm just trying to help.
Good morning, everybody in the chat. Dustin, Glenn. Good morning, everybody. And if you didn't catch it, I already showed off interior pages of issue 6, so you missed it. You'll have to wait for me to launch the Kickstarter, and then you can go see. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so mean. So how have you been? And not like I just didn't see
since
you.
Last night.
Yeah, like because I saw
12 hours ago.
You, Chad, you've seen them. You saw them last night too, and that's not my fault. You weren't wearing your glasses this morning. I don't think it would fit. No. That's a Karen thing. We'll talk about that later. You should come on, Killer Karen. I'm looking for well, excuse me, Karen is looking for a furry to come on the show for reasons.
I don't qualify as a furry.
I know you don't qualify as a furry.
Well, I mean, sort of furry.
You could come on in your Ed Wood personality, and that would be a good show.
Well, yes. That's a thing. That's a thing that could happen. There's no guarantees that this is happening. I don't even
No, that's not what you said. I'm not gonna let you back out of it. He was like, I'm gonna book in the spring, and then which one is it that it coincides with? You're like,
no, it'll be later. It'll be like either July or August. I don't have because it's a project for another company, so I don't have their schedule yet. But he was saying like July, August, something like that was their plan.
Dustin, you are furry as well.
And so for those that don't know what the hell we're talking about, I'm doing a book for another company called Dren Publications. I helped them sort of devise this idea of what I have called the Planiverse, which is, taking Plan 9 from outer space and expanding it into more plans. And so they've done a couple already, and they asked me if I wanted to do one. And I was like, what do you want me to do? They said, we want you to do Plan 39 from outer space. And I did my math and I said, oh, that's the 80s. And he said, yeah. And I said, yes, I'm doing that book.
Okay, there you go.
That's 100%. And so first issue's done. We're coloring it right now. But again, they're doing other ones. Like they're launching Plan 79 from outer space like next week. So they have one more book before they get to mine. And so it'll be in the end of the summer.
I think Dennis Knight is attached to that one.
That sounds
79?
right. Yeah, that sounds right.
I had him on the Karen show. We were talking about that, and I didn't even put 2 and 2 together that it was a spinoff of Plan. What is it? Plan 9.
Plan 9 from outer space. Yeah, is the original. Yeah.
Can't count. I see. Yeah, no, they can't. They're just doing things out of order, willy nilly.
Yeah, because here's the fun part about this, and this is why I really kind of feel like I'm channeling a little bit of Ed Wood, and sort of the whole project is that none of this stuff is being written with any concern with anything else being written. It's just
all one shot.
They're miniseries, but it's just here's Plan 69, here's Plan 79, here's Plan 59, here's Plan 49, here's Plan 39. But none of us are talking together like, here's our continuity base to get us from 39 to 49 to 59. So every time you read one of these things, it's essentially going to be just this self-contained moment, story, characters, and nothing threads forward, and very little, if anything, will thread backwards, other than to the original Plan 9. I'm sure we all have connections to Plan 9, but nothing threads forward. So I'm not leaving anything in my story that threads to 49. So if they decide to do 49, it's just going to be its own thing. And that's sort of Ed Wood in a nutshell. He was like, he was always like, it's not about the little details. It's just about the big picture. And if you watch his movies, you know that that's the truth, because details are not what he does. And so I think that's kind of part of the fun thing is it's like, whatever I do in 39,
that's cool.
49 it'll just be like,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
And I think that'll be fun. It's an interesting thing because I think you get a series, right? But you also get what people have asked about in comics. Like, why aren't we just doing like one and done issues? Why are we doing this big continuity and stuff? So yeah, you'll get like 3 issues of a story, but then it'll be done. And then you'll get 3 issues of a story, and then it'll be done. And it'll all be under the umbrella of the Planiverse, which is what I told Michael to call it. I was like, you're missing out on marketing right now. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, dude, you understand this is the Planiverse, right? He was like, fuck, that's good. So yeah. So the Planiverse, I have introduced something in my book that as far as I know, none of the others have, which makes it even more interesting. Something that Ed didn't have. But if we're in our construct of all of this, I was like, there has to be this. This has to exist. So I put them in.
Tell us.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I tried, guys. I tried.
Yeah. So
I knew we were gonna get some spoilers today, but I'm gonna push.
Yeah. We're gonna save that one. And so I kind of feel like as I was writing my book, just writing my book, I was like, I want to channel Ed Wood, and so I love the film Ed Wood with Johnny Depp.
Did you dress up while you were writing the script?
There's no evidence of that.
Okay, so in my mind, this is what happened.
Yeah, this is in your mind. And so I love the movie, and I've watched some of his other, his movies and stuff, and I've watched some documentaries on him and whatever. I'm like, this guy was
there.
Yeah, he was
time.
Yeah, he was one of these guys that was really driven for what he was doing, but he really didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
Right.
He really didn't. I mean, he understood some of the technical aspects of how do you make a movie, but from a storytelling standpoint, like, he was lost. I mean, just lost. So it's just, it is what it is. And so at some point, this whole thing came up probably on Chris's show. And I was like, so when I do this, when they launch the Kickstarter,
right,
and I do the interviews for it. Yeah, I told Laurie, I was like, so I'll see about letting the Ed Wood persona out for my interview process.
And now it's like written in stone, and I'm holding you to it. So it's like, this will happen.
I need one of those bob wigs with the little curls at the bottom, and
a pink Angora sweater.
Pink Angora. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
So we'll see. But I'm excited for the book. It's it's only the second thing that I've written for somebody else. The first one was for Dynamite, our Bad Kitty book. And
no, I find that surprising.
No, because I didn't want to work for anybody else. I didn't have any desire to be knocking on doors and be like, hey, I want to write that thing.
But people weren't asking you to?
No.
Really?
No.
Because I'm surprised at that, because I've only been doing this for a couple years, but I've written for you, I've written for Travis Gibbs, I've written for William Russell, I'm writing for Terry Parr, and this is, again, it's not me going out and saying, hey, I'll write your script. It's more like, hey,
it's I think it was just a combination of things. I mean, recently, in the past handful of years, I have now started being asked to do things. But which obviously, which is where these guys came in to ask me to do something. But I think a lot of people just two things. I think they realize that I'm crazy busy with my own shit, and that's
what I thought.
I probably don't have a lot of time to do it. And they're right. I really don't. I'm like, Dynamite's already greenlit another book for me, and I haven't even begun to write it. I'm just like, this is our 15-year anniversary for Big Dog Inc. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
A year. Please. Catch me in 2026.
Yeah. So, it's happening, it's out there, but again, I'm not chasing it. If it happens, great. Like, this was a perfect synergy. I was like, yes, 100%. I understand what this universe is. I know what we need in this book. It's the 80s. You've sold me completely. So,
right.
I'm good to go.
You're like, I will do this for free. Just kidding. That's not the deal. But I can see that where it's like you can be picky at this point too, where it's like it needs to be something that you really want to do, that you
100%
enjoy doing. You know what I mean? To even be worth the trouble to add it onto your already busy schedule.
Yeah. Or if I have to not do something of my own in order to do something for you, it has to be something that I'm like fully engaged in. Even the thing for Dynamite, like, I really want to do it. I really want to get to it. It's always percolating. Like, I always have these things in my head. It's like, oh yeah. But I know that I have so much to do this year that there's no chance I get to it till like maybe the end of the year, which is fine because they're not in a rush. It's just a little side thing like Bad Kitty was. They're not like hyper deadline on it. But Nick Barucci, who's the head of Dynamite, he was on another show a few weeks ago, and he brought me up talking about me on the show, which I really appreciated. He was talking about the Bad Kitty book and how I kind of was allowed to not just write the thing and then walk away, but they let me art direct the whole thing, bring the cover artists and I brought my artist from Big Dog Inc., CB Zane. I brought him over. I brought one of my colorists, Chris Chua, over. So it really was like Big Dog Inc. invades, the Dynamite space, which was really cool that they let me do that. And so, again, big shout out to Nick and Josh, the editor over there, and all that. So that was fun to do. And I immediately was like, let's do it. I pitched them a character that I was like, because they own all the chaos stuff. I was like, have you even
Okay.
done anything with this character? They were like, no. I was like, well, and they were like, yeah, okay.
You're
go
like,
ahead.
I'm right here.
So do you want to do a thing? And so I was like, yeah. And then I told him, I was like, so I have this sort of thought process of how to combine this with Bad Kitty and like do a Kittyverse little inside the chaos verse, sort of thing. And they were like, yeah, that probably works. So, I gotta just kind of flesh all that out for them. And
I agree with this too, Fish, where it's like when they give you an opportunity to bring in the people that you want and you have this team that you've used for a majority of your projects, why not give them the opportunity to shine in this new light as well? So I think that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. I've always tried to bring people with me whenever I've had these opportunities, and even when I know people who are doing other stuff, they're always like, oh man, I need like artists. I'm like, let me tell you who I work with. Like, hire these people. I always try and push all the people that work with me, because even for me, I can't hire these guys like every single time.
Day. Yeah.
So it's like, I want to work with this guy, but I have nothing for him anyway. So, hey, you should hire, Brian Peterson, you should hire, CBZ, you should hire these guys, like put them on your projects. I'm always trying to, I don't know, I guess you call it pay it forward to some capacity.
Yeah.
Like, hey, as it worked for me, they've been really great. I want to give them more
opportunity,
more opportunity, whether it's with me or with other people. I want them I want them all to succeed. And then when Nick was like, you do it how you want to do it, I was like, let's go, BDI people. We're coming in.
Chop. We got work to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's awesome though. All right. So here we are in January. Oh my gosh. I feel like we've been talking about you coming on today for like 3 months.
At least. Yeah, sure.
Right. Because when you booked the show and you're like, our 15-year anniversary is coming. I'm so excited. And I'm just like, all right, here we are in that moment. How you feel about it? How you feel about 15 years?
I'm tired.
That's not the way I was looking for.
I mean, guacamole.
Yeah, guacamole. Yeah, that's something else.
Yeah, it's a green room joke.
Do you feel accomplished? Do you feel well? I mean, like, when is this all rolling out? Really in March, right?
Well, March is our official sort of date, because that's when Penny of Years Old was first published. So that's sort of the technical. This is where it started. But we were in previews in January. So, in order to be released in March, we were in previews in January. So, kind of it's all started. We're in the year. And it is weird because I remember 2020 when we were 10, feels like yesterday. But, with COVID happening that year, and then all the just chaos over the last few years, is like, holy God, like that was the weirdest, fastest 5 years ever. I have no concept of time within that at all. Like, people are like, hey, when did this book come out? I'm like, I don't know. Like, in this window of time, it was released. I have no idea. So the fact that we're now at 15 years is wild. Like, I still remember when we were 5 years, we were with Aspen. Like that was crazy to think that, this is our 5-year anniversary. And you're like, with Aspen Comics, like, Jesus. And then 5 years later, we're back on our own, 2020. And here's 10-year anniversary for Critter. And we did our first hardcover. Critter had our first hardcover book. We had toys released in this period of time. That's when the Dynamite thing happened. Like, when I got to that 10-year mark, the doors kind of opened up, I feel like. Hey,
Brian.
In a weird sense. Like, it just sort of felt like almost like, hey, this guy's still around. Like, all right, let's see what else he's got. And we launched Princesses versus Zombies that year, which was a book that just came out of nowhere. It's always a wild ride. Every year is always kind of a weird, bizarro, like, this was never planned. Where did this come from? Goth Day is another one that was never planned. That just kind of came out of nowhere. It was just sort of materialized. And the camp crossover stuff and the summer camp books.
Also hilarious.
It's so weird how all this stuff happened in that since 2020 to now. All that stuff just went all this crap and it's been really fun. It's been really fun to do. And some of it's really challenged me because like the camp crossover stuff, a lot of it is short stories. And I am not a short story writer.
I think you do pretty good.
I mean, I had to teach myself to do.
Right.
I had to forcibly teach you have 8 pages. That's all.
I'm doing that right now with my writing too.
Oh my God.
They're like, I'm working on that one for Terry Parr, and I did a 12 pager, and I'm working on a 10 pager.
Yeah. And the ones you did for me were 10 pages. And
so it's like, that was the first one for you that I've written. That was like, I only have 10 pages where I have to develop characters, tell a story, beginning, middle, end. I'm like, that's hard.
It is. And I even cheated myself because on the last one, I gave myself 12. I was like, I just need 12, but mostly because I needed a big double splash. It required a big double splash for the skateboard day one. And so because of that, I would have only had 6 pages of story. And I'm like, I can't do it in that. So I just expanded it to 12. No big deal. It came out really fun. Nia Rufino did a great job on all the art on that. So but it's 2020 to now is just the strangest period of my creative journey.
Brian, you gotta hook me up. I need to go. I'm just saying. Put me right next to Tom. I'll be okay with that. I'll just throw that out in the universe. Go ahead. What were you saying?
No, that's it. It's just been a really it's been an unexpected journey, and then and now we've got this thing with Dren with Plan 39. So it's you never know. I think this is the thing, like why you just keep going, because you never know when you're going to reach a point where it's suddenly just going to be like, this guy's real. Like this guy's still around. Like we've been here for 15 years now. There are countless publishers that don't exist anymore from when we had started to now, and they're gone.
Yeah.
Or some in the case of a process of going away. When the industry went pencils down during COVID, we were like, nope, pencils up, let's go, keep going. We never stopped. And, we got lucky enough to meet with Ben Dunn over at Antarctic Press. And then he decided to go ahead and pick up the Critter series and rerun that through AP, giving it a whole new set of eyeballs and a whole new set of fans. That they all fully believe is a brand new book and it's never existed before. And then they come and see it at a con and they're like, wait a minute, why does it say issue 23? I'm like, because we've been doing this for a long time. And they're like, I have issue 5 at my store. And I'm like, yeah, well, let me tell you a story.
Yeah. About that.
Yeah. So that's been really good, that it's, and here's the crazy thing. Like I look back on some of our early stuff and I'm like, no, start on issue 18 or something, because I feel like we've found our niche, but it clearly still resonates with the audience. Not once when we did it, not twice when we relaunched it with Aspen, but 3 actual times we've launched Critter over the course of 15 years.
Wow.
Through different publishers, and every single time there has been a positive reaction.
That's great.
It's wild, right?
You can't say that, about everybody's series, because sometimes they age out. You know what I mean? Like they don't age well, and
well, a lot of
style is so different. Like it does that style was popular 15 years ago, but isn't the style now?
Yes.
So
well, and a lot of people I think make the mistake, and we did this a little bit because you want to kind of place this to some degree in sort of a historical context. But I think too many people get hung up writing stuff within the real world, right? Like they want to be like, hey, this is New York at this given time, blah, 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 whatever. They're either making city references, they're making political references. And so that's where it will age out. In 10 years, a lot of that stuff is irrelevant. Unless it's a specific thing. Like if you're making an 80s thing then it will always be the 80s thing. And, you know, it exists in that time period.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to make, you know, political statements or, you know, things of that nature, those waves are always changing.
Right.
Always
It's
changing.
like sometimes we see them favorably and then we find out more information and then it's like, ew, I can't believe we ever thought that way.
Yeah.
So you don't wanna, you just don't wanna, right?
Yeah. So for me, it's always like, it's always just like, you can say like, clearly we're in New York here. Okay, fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you don't have to go like deep dive into the world as it exists at that moment, unless it's a requirement of your story, which is fine. Yeah. There are definitely historical comics and, you know, that kind of stuff that, you know, that's fine. I'm not saying don't do it, but in that's why everything that I do is sort of, you know, what you would call fantasy, you know, whatever you want to call it, science fiction, whatever. So that we're not really locked into specific time periods or anything. We're not focused on, you know, the garbage strike of, you know, whatever. It's just like, we have superheroes and they're jumping off of buildings.
Really
we have a Western chick shooting ruby bullets. You know, we've got princesses fighting zombies. Like, we don't get hung up with, we don't get hung up with a lot of the stuff. We come in to just give you an entertainment level. And it's like, just, I want to entertain. I want you to read the book. I want you to come out of the end of the book with, you know, some sort of fulfillment of, well, that was a good ride. Even if it's a hard story, you know, with some hard stuff in it, I want you to be like, well, that was a good ride. You know, whether it's a happy feeling at the end or like an empathetic feeling at the end, or, you know, whatever it happens to be. I want you to be like, oh, you know, Tom took me on the roller coaster.
Do you drink your tears? I drink
exactly.
tears.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. See,
for sure.
But yeah, that's the whole point, man, is to get in there and to get lost in the story, you know, and just.
Yeah. And if you have too many real world
things,
pinpoints, then it just feels like you're in the real world, you know, and again, that's fine.
Leave the real world.
But that's what I've always said is leave your real world out of my comic books. And, you know, that's that. Like even with Princesses versus Zombies, it does take place in a real world place. It takes place in Evanston, Illinois. But there's a reason for that. But just because we're there, it doesn't set it anywhere, you know, in history. It just is. This is where we are. This is what's happening. There's zombies and they're getting their heads chopped off with axes. Like, don't worry about the rest of it. Just roll with it.
I was like, honestly, if they're thinking that hard about that story, I don't know why they're there.
They're in the wrong story.
They're in the wrong story. Right? I had a great time reading that one. And remember when we talked about it, I was like, so you're a zombie fan. You're like, I hate zombies. And I was like, excuse me? I was like,
I don't hate zombies, but I'm not the super genre guy for that.
But I was like, you can see all the references and genre and like things that zombie people look for when we read comics. And I consider myself a zombie genre person. So I was like, you obviously like zombies. And you're like, no, not really.
No, not really.
Like, oh my God.
But when I realized I had to write the zombie book, I did my zombie research. I did my zombie
and that's
homework.
Key. Yeah. That's key.
It's like when I wrote the Oz book, you know, I was aware of Oz, but I wasn't really aware of like the depth of Oz, like the 14 books that Baum wrote.
Really?
You know, I knew the movie basically. And I'm like, okay, well, that's the Wizard of Oz. And then as I started to kind of go into the Oz storytelling, I was like, Jesus Christ, there's a lot of this. And so I read all of the 14 Baum books, and then that gave me my sort of through line to make my story. But I did my research. I did my due diligence to make sure that whoever's reading it is going to have that sense of Oz. Same thing with Princess versus Zombies. I want you to have those touchstones of, you know, Tom may not like zombies, but he understands what's going on. He understands it enough to bring us a story.
Yeah, you researched it enough so that way those of us who are in the zombie genre get the things that we're looking for.
Sure.
We get that satisfaction. That's the fan payoff. That's the point. And like, we all should do that, right? We all, as writers, if you're an artist, do what your writer says. But as a writer, it's like, you should be doing the research into the genre you're in and like the area that you're in. Like Psycho Sal is specifically New Orleans in the 80s. So I have to be very careful to work around that when I'm writing that, that storyline. So.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Michael. How are you?
And there's a thing in Princesses versus Zombies, the first issue. There's a little Easter egg nod to Adam Marcus, who's the director of Friday the 13th, the Jason Goes to Hell.
Oh,
there's a little nod in there. I don't know that anyone's caught this. They wouldn't know that it's a nod. They wouldn't know that it's a nod to him specifically, but I don't know that anyone has caught this. And it's interesting because it's a purposeful error.
Yeah, I'll have to go look again.
And I don't know if anybody's caught it, but I'll now that I've said that, I'll sell this. So in Adam Martin, when he did his movie, Jason Voorhees, of course, we all know Friday the 13th. Mm-hmm. So in his film, they go to the Voorhees house, right? And they have the mailbox. They go up, they see the mailbox, and it says Voorhees on the mailbox. Voorhees is spelled wrong.
Oh. Okay.
So
see, I still have to go back and look.
Yeah. So Adam was really great and kind enough to do. I used to do a movie podcast, and he came on and talked with us for 2 hours about making his movie. It was fantastic, and he talked about that little goof. He's like, yeah, you'd think the director would know what the hell's going on, but it didn't do it. And so when I was doing Princesses versus Zombies, I had a moment to do two things in once. I had one thing where I can be like, look, I understand zombies. And then I was like, look, Adam Marcus, I am joining you in the error realm, but on purpose. And I don't think anyone's caught it yet because if they have, they haven't said anything. But
people like yourself that are writers and like myself, where I'm hiding things in the script and I'm putting Easter eggs and like, you need that observant reader. We were talking about this last night where it's like, you just need that one person to be like, hey, wait a minute. Isn't this the thing, for someone to call it out? And it's like, I need to go back and read people like yourself that do that, because I love catching that stuff and being like, hey, Tom, so I need to go back and reread. But I like when people do that to me too, where they're just like, this skull is a thing, right? I'm like, oh yeah. And he was like, so it's his skull? I'm like, oh yeah. They're like, oh, I have to go back and reread. I'm like, yes, you have to go back and reread. That's the whole point.
It's fun. And that's with Plan. Here's what I'm going to do with Plan 39 from Outer Space. It is so littered with Easter eggs and callbacks. And I mean, just littered. Like I had my artist, I had to keep giving him reference of like, I couldn't just say like, do this. I had to be like, I need this 100% this thing right here. It has to be this. Don't change it in any capacity.
Yeah.
It has to be this, because I'm just ripping things out of science fiction and stuff from everywhere of my pop culture world. So it is just littered with stuff. And so what I'm going to do is create a scavenger hunt list of everything that's in the book and see if people can find all of the things that are in the book.
I need the copy of that, but I'm afraid because that's not really the genre I'm familiar with. Like Ed Wood, I haven't seen any Ed Wood movies. I'm not really familiar with.
We're not going to tap too hard on the Ed Wood thread. It's just pop culture in general.
Okay.
I mean, it's just like
then I can play along.
There's a Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
All right, awesome.
Thing in there, stuff like that. I
want one of my girls to watch that movie too, because we were talking about.
I think they can. I don't think it's that scary.
I think the older one could. You've met the younger one. She's scared of. She got mad when we were watching. Okay, we were watching Jurassic Park. Did I tell you this? We were watching Jurassic Park.
I don't know.
And I was like, it's such a good movie. It still holds up. And they were upset when the goat got eaten.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
We were watching the second one, which is a dumpster fire. Right.
Yep.
And at the very end, when they're off the boat and the T-Rex is going around, I forget who the actress is, but she was like, the first thing he's going to do is find sustenance, like food and water, and then he's going to go on a rampage, right? And so the dino is at a house, and it shows a dog chained to a dog house outside,
and the house is hanging out of his mouth.
Yeah, with the chain. The little one lost it. We had to turn off the movie.
Yeah.
I had my husband and the older one watched the rest of it. It was only like 5 more minutes, but I had to take her upstairs and console her for like an hour.
Yeah, but that's an animal. That's a dog getting
It's
eaten.
it's a dog though. But I thought
there's
like it
nothing
would
in
be too
Close
scary for
Encounters
her.
that's.
Well, when they take the kid.
Yeah, but
when he opens the
I'm not saying that
door
that's not
and
like a freaky moment, but I think that's not quite comparable to like something being
I think it
eaten.
was the dog. I think when it has to do with like dogs specifically, that's when they
Sure.
lose their crap.
Of
But
course.
I'm trying not to scar her because I don't want to pay for the therapy. Because, and eventually when they get old enough to read my book, hopefully they've seen enough
You just
other
have to
things.
use it as a teaching moment, Lori. If you
I
don't listen to your mother, this is what happens. You get
we had
sucked
another
out the dog door.
situation. That's another. Well, there was another one. They were on grandma's cell phone, and the little one came across zombies chasing a dog again. Didn't sleep for 2 days. And I was like, again, you have to listen to me. This is why you're not allowed on YouTube. And I was like, Grandma, you're not, she can't give you her phone anymore because you don't follow the rules. So yeah, that was fun. Me and the kids watch movies trying to work out how they did it. That's me, where I'm like, dude, that's so gross. And I was like, I wonder how many bladders of, fake blood they had to use to make his head explode like that. You know what I mean? But sometimes they just can't get it out of their mind. So, but I think Close Encounters of the Third Kind is such a great movie, classic. So,
Close Encounters is one of those movies that I really like, but I don't think I understand it yet.
Really?
And I've seen it like a lot of times. I've seen all the different cuts of it. Like there's like 5 different cuts of this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but how old were you, Lou? That's what I want to know. So how many?
But I don't think I understand it yet. Like I understand the story. Like I understand what's happening.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's another layer that I'm missing because I don't find the ending satisfying. I don't find like, hey, the aliens just showed up and like send all your people home, and then we send some people with them again. And like, I feel like I'm missing something that makes it more grand than
like
I'm understanding it to be.
Lou, that's hilarious. Yeah, I don't think the message of that movie was to sculpt your mashed potatoes, but I feel you. Like, what was the purpose? Why were they okay with taking what happened with the cows? Was the cows the government doing that to keep people away? Like,
yes, yeah. That whole ending part, that was just hey, there's a problem because we know the aliens are coming here. But like it's such a weird thing because here you're basically telling me that aliens are real. They have been abducting people for decades upon decades. Yeah. And hey, sorry about that. Here's your guys back.
Well, they just like trade them. They're like, we're done with these ones. Can we have
can we get a couple more? Like, yeah.
But why would you, I guess, willingly go?
They're like trading baseball cards. Like we don't need these
World
War II guys
That's
anymore.
That's what it is. We are Pokemon cards to the aliens. They come down and see who shows up, and they're like, "Ooh, I want that one. I'll trade you this little boy, the guy from 35 years ago who looks the same, and this lady with the funky hair and the aluminum
and I'll trade them for the mashed potato guy.
Yeah, mashed potato guy. Yeah. He's been feeling our vibes pretty good. We're gonna put him into play. We'll see. What if they battle them in space? That would be hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know. So I like the movie, but I feel like I'm.
Do you
feel like people are seeing something I'm not seeing to make it
more
grand?
I don't know.
Other than just the cool effects, like the special effects were cool and stuff.
Yeah, back then, absolutely. Well, was it communicating through music?
I mean, yeah. Hey, the music is great. John Williams. I mean, you can't go wrong. It's a good movie. I
didn't mean that. I meant like communicating with the aliens.
Oh, like, communicating with music.
That I think was like mind blowing to people.
Yeah.
Where I was like, this could happen. What if they redid this movie?
Is it the only UFO movie where the government isn't upset about the aliens?
Yes.
Like giant aliens are coming to our planet. It's cool. Like play some music.
Yeah. Ba, 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 ba. You got to turn the decibels up and so they can hear it better.
Yeah. Because even like E.T., like.
Oh, yeah. They know. They came in.
E.T. was a good guy, right? But there was still the government trying to get him. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's 7. Okay.
It's throwing me off.
How old Lila is. So movies were all full of attacks and no one, especially animals, was hurt. And I've tried explaining it at her, but it didn't work.
Yeah, no, age has nothing to do with seeing anything. It's an interpersonal thing. You can either handle it or you can't. At any age. I mean, I know people who are older and they can't do horror movies. I mean, they can't go watch horror movies. Like,
I'm related to them. But I blame my friend. My sister and I had this one friend that we grew up with named Megan, and she loves horror. And so her and my sister were the same age, and I'm a couple years behind. And we would go to Megan's house, and we would spend the night, and we would watch things. I think I was 7, watching like Pet Sematary. I blame Megan for the way I am. And my sister, of course, went the other way, where she was like, I can't sit through that. I don't like being scared. Sleeps with a nightlight. Can't do it, you know? And I'm just like, can I watch that scary part again? Like, I want to go through the haunted house. I'm that weirdo. So
yeah, I mean, back in the day, which most of the people in the chat won't know what the hell I'm talking about, there was a thing called cable TV. Cable TV, when that became a thing, cable TV was basically for things like HBO. Like, that's what cable TV was. And so HBO would just run crazy shit.
Whatever they wanted.
Yeah. And so whenever you had a sleepover back in the 80s, you would just be up till all hours of the night watching shit like Poltergeist and, you know, just crazy nonsense like that. So, you know, Friday the 13th part 2 was, I don't know how we saw that. Why did my mom let me rent that? Because that was a VHS that we rented. I was a little bit older. I wasn't like a kid, but I was still like probably 10. We were like, Friday the 13th part 2. Like, let's watch this.
I watched all those slasher movies at sleepovers as well, where it was like my parents had no idea what we were watching.
100%. 100%. Yeah. Jaws was a big one when it finally came on VHS. And yeah.
So how you tied your TV to the wall? No, fish. Headbanger ball. I don't remember that.
That's
one.
MTV stuff.
Oh, okay. I was like,
that's later in the cable era. Yeah. When cable TV started to become,
wasn't it? Yeah.
That's when cable TV started to evolve and become channels and stuff rather than just paying for HBO movies and stuff.
Low budget movies to watch to fill their time slots. That's probably true, right? They needed something to play at like midnight. Headbangers ball. I'll have to go. You think it's on YouTube, or you can like find it's some of that stuff is just lost in time, isn't it?
It's just playing music videos.
Oh,
there was a show where they would play like heavy metal, you know, music videos and stuff like that.
I missed that. We don't get a channel anymore that just plays music videos.
Well, that's YouTube. YouTube, you can just go watch whatever music video you want. Just put in, you know, Paula Abdul, and there'll be a list of everything she's ever done.
Yeah, but I want it to be like random.
The only thing I can say there is if you go on to some of these streaming channels like Tubi and Amazon, they have live channels now where it's just 80s. It's essentially just spooling through 80s music videos. Yeah.
That's cool.
Absolutely. That's a real thing. So technically MTV is back in a way, but there's no VJs. There's no one introducing like, hey, coming up next is like, you know, Michael Jackson and the Thriller or whatever. It's just
it was always great to not know what was coming on next, and like just some random stuff. And
it used to
tell you like, be here if you want to see the premiere of the new Bon Jovi video.
There was a time in 1989 when the Batman movie came out, and so Prince had the Bat Dance video.
Yes.
And MTV ran a contest where if you watched the video, and at some point during the video, like the big bat symbol would come up. And when that came up, you would call a phone number and you would be entered into a contest to win the Batmobile. Right?
I'm sorry. What?
Yes. I'm not even kidding you. So a friend of mine and I, it was like, hey, on Saturday, like do this. So a friend of mine and I basically had a sleepover on Friday night. Saturday morning, we wake up, we put MTV on, and we just watch for that moment. Right? But they don't tell you when it's happening.
Hours of MTV.
I mean, hours upon hours upon hours of, and then whenever the video would come on, it'd be like, oh crap, they're playing the video, and you watch it. I didn't see it. Did you see it? I didn't see it. No. We wait again. And then like 8:00 at night, of course.
You've been watching since Friday night.
You've been watching it all day long. At 8:00 at night, it plays again, and we're like, I think we missed it. We must have missed it. And all of a sudden, like the screen just goes bat signal. Bwomp! Like, you can't miss it. It's like, there it is, blomp. And we were like, yo, and we're getting on the phone again, attached to the wall. We have one phone. We don't have multiple phones. We're just like, pick up the phone, pick up the phone, pick up the phone. So that was one of our days, was watching Bat Dance all day long. That's what we did in the days of old, my friends. We sat on our shag carpet and watched MTV in an attempt to win the Batmobile.
I don't think I ever called in any of those things. I know I tried calling a radio station, I think a couple times, just to request songs, and could never get through. So just
same.
tried.
Yeah, I never did that.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to request it just so I could record it. I was like, hey, play this song. Record.
Yeah, you have to hit the two buttons.
Yes.
Yeah, we all had that mixtape going. It was like a commercial in between because you forgot.
I found, I was in the basement looking through boxes. I was looking for some books.
Did you find mixtapes?
I found mixtapes. Oh yeah. I found, not only, listen, back in the 80s in California, no, I can, because I have my tape deck downstairs too.
What?
Yeah, my old stereo with the tape deck is here. Yeah. So there was this radio station in California called Pirate Radio, and they would play everything. I mean, it wasn't just rock; it was just like everything, and that's why I loved it. And so I would just go to school, and when I go to school in the morning, I would just turn it on and push record, and it would just record for however many hours I could get, on the tape.
Oh my gosh.
And then I'd come home. And I would then edit the tape. I'd be like, okay, here it is. And I'd edit out the commercials and then put the song onto this. So I have like 12 tapes that all say Pirate Radio, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12. And I found those downstairs, along with all my other cassette tapes from like Batman, Karate Kid. I have they did a wrestling album called Pile Driver for the WWF back in the day. I found that down there. So it was a wild box.
Your basement. It's like that warehouse from Indiana Jones.
Yes.
Just with
yes.
You go down there, there's boxes everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like a museum.
100%.
It's literally a museum.
I'll take a picture. I'll take a picture.
Yeah, I want to. Okay, post that later. I want to see the picture.
For sure.
Is the Ark of the Covenant down there?
Not anymore. I sold that many, many years ago. I used to have it though. The little Indiana Jones Ark of the Covenant toy. I used to have it.
I meant like the real one. You're like, actually, I did have that.
I did have the Ark for a period of time, but somebody on eBay got it.
I've heard rumors about the actual Ark of the Covenant that
it's in Ethiopia.
Yeah, I've heard one, and that it's in Ethiopia. 2, that like when you get assigned to that building, they no longer let you leave.
You don't leave the building, correct?
Right. And then
when the people that die eventually, they die through strange radiation style burns and all that kind of crap. Yeah.
Okay, so all true. Great.
Oh, all true. Yeah, 100% true. Yes.
All right.
Listen, I write a theology book called Penny for Your Soul. I have done my theology research as
I'm doing research too for reasons. I'm not going to talk about.
Yeah, the thing with the Ark, the only bummer part of the Ark,
it's like really like a lump of plutonium or something in there. Like, what's in there?
It probably is. It's probably like a meteorite.
Yeah,
that they maybe tried to carve and shape or whatever. Like, that's probably the reality of it.
Yeah.
But what always bummed me out is when I discovered that Raiders of the Lost Ark was bullshit.
That it wouldn't just immediately melt your face.
Well, not the Ark, but everything else. Like, the Ark we know is like a real thing from the Bible or whatever. But like the Staff of Ra is bullshit. Tanis is bullshit. Like, it's all bullshit. And I was really unhappy when I finally discovered that like he told a story around the one element.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You wanted to find like the hole in the ground and go down with the staff.
I wanted, I was like,
you were like, I'm going to do it.
And how I found out was I researched the Staff of Ra. I was like, tell me the Staff of Ra. Tell me what it, blah, blah, blah. And then it comes up as like, Staff of Ra is a fictional item from the, and I was like, what?
No.
What? No.
That would have been really cool if it was like, we hid the Ark with the Staff of Ra, but apparently not.
Yeah. Because in the Ark, supposedly is the staff. Yeah. Top men. That's correct. Top men at eBay. In the Ark is the staff of Aaron. Oh, it's not the staff though. It's called the rod. God damn it. See, I'm destroying my own childhood here as we go from one point to the other. Yeah, it's not the staff of Aaron, it's the rod. It's the rod. So yeah, no, it's all fucked up, guys. None of it's real. None of it's real. Sorry.
It's sad. We'll just have to make our own. Let's have to make our own. Speaking of making your own, let's get, I mean, like the reason for the season. What's going on? Let me refresh this. I haven't refreshed in a while. I don't think that's accurate. Let me see.
No, it's accurate.
Oh, it is. Okay. I wasn't sure. Sometimes I bring it up the night before and it just, if you click off of it, it just sits there. But this is looking great, man. Critter number 25. The Critterverse revealed. What?
Yeah.
What are you revealing?
I don't know.
You don't know. The rest of us don't.
Yeah, so it's Critter 25 of the ongoing series, but we also had 5 issues prior to it. So it's technically issue 30 overall. And then we did a few spin-off books as well. So
copy. Sorry, continue.
No, that's it. That's it. That's all there is.
That's not it.
We're done. That's all there is.
Oh no, I'm gonna scroll somewhere.
Okay, scroll some more. So 15 years, 15 years of Critter. The Critterverse has been something that's been sort of being built over a period of time. I have to give credit to Vince Hernandez at Aspen Comics for coining the term Critterverse.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't come up with that? I'm surprised.
I did not.
Wow.
That was a Vince thing. We were at San Diego Comic-Con. I think it was my second year there.
Yeah. And
he was talking to a big writer. She will rename nameless, but not for problems, but just she'll rename us. But he was talking to her, and he was talking to her about the Critterverse. I was like, "What?" He was like, "Yeah, man, I had this thought this whole thing could be like the Critterverse and expand." I'm just like, "Holy shit!" And then who he was talking to, I was like, "Yo, you got to be kidding me!" So it took a lot of time for that to come back to me, because once we left Aspen, I was just trying to figure out what to do here. But as we got more into Critter, that term came back to me, and I was like, "Oh my God, yes, this is how we're going to play this." What's that?
Right. It said it makes perfect sense for what you're doing and building.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's a 15-year project, guys. It is continuing on. There's more to come. It is old school, fun superhero stuff, just like you've been listening to me shout about. It's superheroes, it's science fiction, it's pop culture, it's everything that to me comics used to be back in like the 70s and 80s, and a little blend of the 90s too. But it's just very, very fun superheroes, utility belts, secret identities, fantasy costumes, time travelers, and parallel universes all mixed into one. So it's a very, very fun book. Here's the thing. It is the hardest book for me to sell, but when somebody buys it, they fall in love with it invariably. Yeah. And I think that's just because there's so much superhero stuff in the world. We're just inundated with superhero stuff. So another superhero book, it's like, I have superhero. I'm like, yeah, but just try it. And invariably there was like, yo, this was super fun. Give me the rest of it. So that's the only thing I would say is if anyone's sort of like on the fence, just give it a shot. There's a thing in here that we do. It's called the quick catch up. And it's just like the last handful of issues. So if you don't want to go like a deep dive into like getting all the trade paperbacks or stuff.
This one, just a little critter.
No, these are all the variant covers.
I'm sorry.
Yep. You're in the variant cover.
You didn't do like the categories on the list.
No, I don't do that category.
I know. When I that's so easy when you're just like click on the thing. Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right there. So there's the quick catch up. So it's the last 5 issues. It's 21 to 25. It's a very easy grab. Try the book out, and if you like it, then you can go buy the trade paperbacks, and because this is essentially volume 6. 21 to 25 is volume 6, and that's what we're wrapping up here.
Gotcha. Yeah, I like how you do, because again, one of the more imposing aspects of a series that's been running for 15 years is, gosh, I'm going to miss out if I start on issue 25. You know what I mean? Like I got to get 24 issues to know what's going on in this one. And so, breaking it down into, okay, this arc is 6 issues. There's a lot of stuff that you missed out. Yeah. But you'll get the point if you just read these 6.
Sure. Yeah. Each volume that as I went through, they were all written as like 5 issue, arcs or whatever. So they were there. While there's clearly stuff that's come before, if you come in at any one of these given points, you will sort of be scooped up and be like, this is where we are.
Yeah.
And then let's go. And then if you want to go back, you can go back, and it makes it very easy.
And something that Tom does, which is genius, is does like a book sale. What do you call it? Book fair?
Book fair. Yeah.
Right. So here you are, and you're like, okay, I can't afford to get all 25, but get me 21 to 25. And then if you love it, you can go back and you can pick up, and he has great deals for when the book fairs are on. So there's always opportunities to not only get caught up, but you can mix and match between his other series as well, which is super smart. So I hope someday to have a catalog that big. It was like hashtag life goals. But like you said, 15 years, it'll get you there, right? So gotta keep going.
Yeah. Oh, slow and steady.
What's this Paradox Paradigm? So
that's our first spin-off issues. All of those are one-shots of characters that are in the series. And we just that's really the birth of the Critterverse right there, is taking the characters that were in the Critter primary story and giving them their own stories. And so these are long sold out. So all we have on these is digital copies, but we wanted to give people a chance to get in on again, the expansion of the Critterverse.
Paradigm is a thing. And this is one thing I do have to say for your series, for anybody again who's on the fence. There is a ton of different layers. So on your first read through, it's just a fun time. You go enjoy the story and all the like hero hijinks, but there's so many different things like we've talked about. I'm like, oh my God, I missed that. Oh my God, I missed that. I'm like, now I have to go back and read again. Like last night we were on Corissa's show and Ray was like, well, what about this? And I was like, how come I didn't catch that? I was like, I think I'm a pretty savvy writer, but if you're reading through it fast the first time because it's exciting, you'll miss things. And so it's always great to be able to go back and catch stuff. And this series has that. So that's all.
And now that we're, 30 issues deep on the book, we're now in the position to, drop back into those old stories and sort of be like, hey, remember when this happened? Well, here's sort of the result or the next phase of, whatever that part of the story is. So yeah. It's really cool.
Critter package, Critter complete combo.
That's everything, guys. That's everything. That's all the trade paperbacks, the in-crowd spinoff, all 5 of the new issues, and the digital Paradox Paradigm set. That's the whole spiel.
Well, that's cool. So physical on the ones that you have, physical, digital on what's sold out, or there's all digital options. So that's awesome. So you just want like, I want all the things, but
get all the things.
Will kill me if I spend over $100. You can use 75. But she'll never know because it's digital, and you don't get this giant box.
That's true, right? Also, remember that the prices that you see, that includes your shipping. There's no extra shipping, so it's $125 that gets it to you shipped.
That's awesome. I wish I could afford to do that. Can't do it yet.
And then if you're an art collector, we've got all the variants put together. A little bit of a discount there. Plus, it has the bottom one is the Lingerie Wars cover that we're doing, our old World War II style posters. The one in the super combo pack is a navy blue variant. And then you can get the regular sort of green fatigues version all by itself by Keith Garvey.
Interesting. Yeah. What's this plane called?
Pussyfootin'.
Okay. It was one of those I was like, oh, Tom. Every now and again, I have one of those moments where I just shake my head at Tom. Like, oh, Tom. I'm like, all right.
Cat girl, what else are you going to call a plane?
I'm not going to go there. There's plenty of things. We won't be saying them out loud. My brain is just as much in the gutter as yours. I just don't put it on the cover. Although I am tempted to do a pinup of Dwayne Fink because I think that would be hilarious. He's the old guy.
Just do whatever you got.
Put him in the whitey tighties with the what's the suntan lotion?
Copper tone.
Yeah, that's the one. You know what I'm talking about? Where the dog's pulling that, but with Dwayne Fink. Mm-hmm. So anyway. Now, if you guys haven't read Camp Crossover, it's hilarious because it's like all these different universes go to summer camp. Mm-hmm. And look who it is in the middle right there. Who's that?
I don't know.
That's Tom. right here.
That's not my fault, by the way. That's the artist. Jason Hare did that. He does the insides of the book, and we hadn't decided on a cover yet, and so he just mocked it up because he knew that it was all based on that Meatballs, summer camp movie. So he just mocked it up completely on his own. He was like, "Hey, I just did this," ha, ha, ha. And I was like, "Well, that's our cover." So go ahead and finish that. Yeah, let me tell you who we need the characters to be, and then that's our cover.
Funny. That's funny.
That has now become, just like Goth Day and some of the other stuff, that's become an annual event for us to send the characters to summer camp with. We've done like balloon fight issues. We've done pillow fight issues. We sent them to the drive-in movies last year on skateboards. We did video games. We sent them to a video game arcade. So there's it's been, and those are all of our short stories. So that's where I kind of
I can't find it.
Like cut my teeth on, how to write an 8-page, 10-page story. So
it's in here somewhere.
What is? Oh, you have your camp.
The crossover one with the skateboard, and it was skateboard and corn dog, and where is it?
Yeah, everybody got we did a variation of our logo from Big Dog Inc. So it's got 2 corn dogs on it, and it says Corn Dog Inc. That's the summer camp. Summer camp. I don't know. Variation. It's Corn Dog Inc.
Can't find it. I have it. I wanted to show the picture, that one that cracked me up so much that I had to send it to you. The one where it's like, ding, it's your like cheesecake face. Like,
yeah.
Like,
again, that's not in the script. No, you know what? I'm wrong. That is in the script. But the way that Nei drew it with all the little stars and
it was like big, almost like chibi eyes.
Yes, that's a Nei moment.
Hard. I laughed so hard, and you were like, "This isn't my fault." It doesn't matter. It's hilarious. Ronan wants to know if Slipstream is based off of Jetstream from Sky High.
Not in the slightest.
Slipstream?
Not in the slightest.
Oh,
Slipstream is Slipstream's out there. No, Slipstream is I don't want to spoil like her origin, but basically she's an alien. She has the ability to sort of enter people's stories. So like if she touches you, she can sort of put herself in your story, like from a memory standpoint. Like she'll understand your memories, but she'll be in the story, and she can sort of then take elements from that story and sort of interpret that into an image of herself. So in what you're looking at right there, that's her origin story that Pat Shand wrote. She finds a kid that's being bullied at school, and he writes comic books for himself, and he created this character that he's drawing that, is supposed to, he wants that protector, right? Oh, this character will protect me. So he's drawing comic book. And so she goes into that story. She actually goes into the comic book story, sees what's going on, comes out, and she becomes that character that the boy had been, creating. And so then she's maintained that. She can still change herself if she wants to, but over time, she's maintained sort of that general Slipstream persona rather than changing every time. But she can kind of do whatever she wants. She's not really a shapeshifter per se, but it kind of rolls into that. But she can absorb even the powers that she has. So
interesting.
Yeah.
To Ben's reality, would you say?
To some
extent,
some aspect, yeah.
That's just putting it, yeah. Have to read it to find out.
Yeah, read the book, man.
What's the team up set?
The team up set is issues 22, 23, and 24. We did Doghouse team up covers. So you have Critter and Blue Jay fighting the Mad Medusa. Then we have Pillow Fight Day. It's Critter and Tina, our Jungle Girl, with the homage to the X-Men Rogue thing. And then the
To
last
the
one
cake.
is Sin Kitty and Danica. So that's sort of our Las Vegas team up. So that's just if you want to, catch up on some
That's
stuff
funny.
you didn't get. We've got those little fun team up covers.
We saw the specialty covers.
Yep, specialties are foils and
Ooh.
metals. If you want to get fancy, you can get the foils and metals. These are all printed to order. So however many orders we get, that's what we do. We have minimums of like 10, but generally speaking, we are printing these to order.
What is going on in this? She's coming out of the grave?
Yep.
I'm upset.
This is an homage to the old Spider-Man cover.
Yes.
From yeah.
But how'd she? Never mind.
She's a vampire, Laurie.
Okay.
Nosferatu?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. They buried her. Catgirl of Mars.
Yeah.
Is this like a, what's that alluding to? John?
Deja Thoris.
I don't know what that is.
From John Carpenter. Not John Carpenter.
John Carpenter of Mars. Yeah, okay.
John, yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't remember the words. The words left the brain.
Mm-hmm.
Velvet Fox. Hollow Foil.
Elias Chetsaudis is back.
That's a nice cover. I like the texture in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Could do without the cheeks. Just kidding.
Nah.
I know everybody likes the cheeks. We got more cheeks coming too, just not yet. Catnip.
That's Larry Tewison.
I just want to say, having done some promotional pictures for things, that showing off the backside and the front side of your body is hard to do. You got to be flexible. It's all about.
She's not showing the back and front.
Well, she's showing the side of her face, and that's okay.
Just turning your
head. Arch your back, and then you got to turn on your hip, and then lean forward, and then look back, and it's just like it's very uncomfortable. And they're like, hold that position. I'm like, for how long? It's you gotta be limber for that.
Well, they're superheroes.
Kitty. She's one of my favorites, just because she's so cool looking. Clockwork Kitten. Steampunk it up, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
She's cool. I was gonna say I haven't seen a ton of her. She's in a spinoff, yeah. She have a spinoff?
She's in this series. This is her focus is in this 21 to 25.
Okay, I haven't read those yet. You could send them to me. I'm okay with that. I'm always like peddling for free comics. You can send them to me. I'll be okay with that. Just a little critter.
Oh, and then she's in the BD14 book. That's where you know her from.
Yeah, okay, that's it. I was like, I've seen.
So you got a little snip of the story there.
Yes. Yeah. We've got so much stuff, man. It's like between you, me, and Corissa, we could just have our own shop. Just comic stuff.
Yeah, man. Make awesome art. Make awesome stories.
Yeah. Just a little pest. What's this one from?
That she actually first appears in the Electric Youth story from the Paradox Paradigm. She's one of the parallel alternate critter versions.
Gotcha.
But she's not necessarily like a good version.
Uh-oh.
And then for those that don't know, Penny for Your Soul and Critter share a universe.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we did a crossover, issues 7 and 8. We did a direct crossover. It was the first appearance of The Apprentice. And then The Apprentice then appeared in Penny for Your Soul books as we went on down the line. And in the most recent Penny for Your Soul book, they are venturing to Purgatory to find the spirit of Josie, who is the cat girl who was killed in the earlier part of the Critter series. So it all goes together.
Yeah, oh my gosh. That's fun though. I love, when you're been around long enough where you can do that, where it's like, now we can put this in here, now we can put that in there, and like people actually get the reference. And
yep.
Oh, do you want white stockings or black stockings or red stockings? This one's new.
We have a handful of these left over from last year's book fair.
Yeah, so I was going to say this one, the white
I just threw them in there.
I remember.
Yeah. So this is Schoolgirl. This is Critter's sidekick. And this was
fun.
part of our book fair last year. And so it's a mystery envelope. You're going to get one of those pulled at random.
I like it.
Yeah.
Oh, the action figures. Now, gosh, now would you do this again? Would you do this again?
Yeah, we're already planning another one. Yeah. We'll probably have it next year. Yeah.
Which one? Which one are you doing next?
Plan right now is to do Dorothy Gale.
Oh, okay. I was like, are we doing another critter? Because if so, I want Clockwork Kitten, please.
Yeah, that was the thought process. We basically had two choices. We was like, okay, let's continue the Critterverse, in which case it probably would have been Catnip. And I wasn't against that thought process, and we probably will still do that. But the other thought process is we need to expand the market. And if we do an Oz book, or an Oz figure rather, we expand our market into different eyeballs and different, situations. Yeah. So, and especially since I'm so, deep in the Oz community, I was like, yeah, we really probably need to do Dorothy next and have that unique, sort of thing. And then the other thought process was the princesses from Princesses versus Zombies, was bringing those. And again, I'm not saying we're not going to do them, but it was like, oh my God, there's so many people. Because I would ask people like, what would you want next? They're like, oh, this. Like, you'll ask 100 people, you'll get 75 different answers. Yeah. Like, oh, Jesus Christ. So I just was like, you know what? Let's just do Oz. Let's see if we can make a cool steampunk Dorothy figure. Cool. Put that on the market, and again, just attract a different sort of eyeball base, buyer base. And then probably the next one after that will probably be a Princesses versus Zombies character. Because again, that then takes us into the fairy tale world harder. Oz does that a little bit, but if we suddenly do like a Cindy figure, now we're way Alice in Wonderland stuff and all of that, those kinds of things. So that's probably what we're going to see. You'll probably see Gale next year, and then one of the princesses the year after. Would be my guess.
Allison
would be my guess.
I'm just saying, I want an Allison one.
We all want all of that. We want all of it.
We want all the things. I know it's hard. It's hard.
Well, and that was the thing. The toy company was like, hey, so why don't we do like 3 figures next time? I was like, no, absolutely not.
You're like, for the same price. Yeah, that's great.
yeah, right. Like, there's no chance that like, I mean, we made $39,000 on that Kickstarter campaign, but I mean, that barely paid for all of it.
And that's what people don't get. They see a big number and they assume that you're making bank, and it's like all of this goes into production.
That's correct.
There's 300, there's 400 of these people that are getting rewards, and it's like shipping and manufacturing and just all of that goes directly to the project. So it's like, you see a big number like that, don't assume that we're rolling in money.
Right. Yeah. No.
We ain't rolling in money.
It all went away. And so, but if we were to do 3 figures, our price points would still be the same. So we would need like $90,000 to do 3 figures.
Can you imagine?
And I'm like, there's no way. Now, granted, again, if we did 3 figures, we would sell more figures, obviously, because people would buy them. But considering the price points that we have to have them at, you're asking a lot of your audience at one time. But if you can do that sort of like 1 figure a year, we can manage that.
Okay. That's kind of how I feel about graphic novels. It's like, if we were just jump into graphic novel, I would love to do that story-wise, because people could just sit down and read Path. I think that's one of our challenges, is that we're going to a 12-issue arc. Right. But I can't, again, that ask for, it's like, take 12 issues. We need, just for art, we need $4,000 an issue. You know what I mean? And then you're trying to ask that in a Kickstarter. That's a lot harder to obtain.
Yeah.
So that's the same thing. It's hard. Not sure.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying that this year with our shark book. It'll be our first just OGN. Jumping to the whole story. So we're gonna kind of test the waters and see what happens.
But I think you've, at this point, you've built an audience, and then people are very excited about what you do. And I think if now is the time to do it. If it was someone like me, I was like, hey, I've been doing this for 2 years. We're going to put it together a 12-issue graphic novel. Why don't you come along for it? It's going to be a lot harder of an ask, right? Haven't spent the time.
Correct.
So it's nice to dream about someday, but
got to take a shot at it. Sometimes you just got to take a shot. And
well,
I think
you take the shot and then I'll take notes. That's what I do for a lot of people. You're doing what? Okay, let me watch what you do.
Sure.
Queer, blah, blah. What was that? I was going to say critter and warehouse, and it came out as quiver.
Yeah. So this is just back issues. I went through I've been doing
nice.
inventory, trying to find some stuff that we've got floating around. I don't have many of these, like maybe 10. So if you guys like the back issues and stuff, a lot of these are very, very limited quantities remaining. So, it's just sort of a mixture of stuff from, the last 15 years.
How often do you go into the warehouse and put stuff up? Because don't you have a show that you do weekly where you do a poll and you're purchasing stuff maybe from vendors or shows and putting that up. But do you ever put stuff from your warehouse, your work up on those shows?
On Wednesday nights, that's when we primarily do the Doghouse, which is a live sales show where we bring, again, whatever variants and, whether it's recent stuff or old stuff, whatever we got, we bring it in. We talk to people about Big Dog Inc. And we do that on Wednesdays on Facebook, Comic Book Shopping Network. And then I do a Sunday show at 10 p.m. Eastern where we just kind of do collections. I buy collections, Marvel, DC, Image, whatever, and we just sell that stuff on Sundays.
I only laugh because there was that one time I wandered in and I was like, where am I?
Yeah.
And you were like, hey, Laurie, what are you doing here? I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'll go. Everybody was confused, me included. What else you got here? Critterverse first appearances. Okay.
Yeah. So first appearance of Lasso Lass, first appearance of the Cat Girl of Mars, and first appearance of Nosferatu in those particular issues.
You have physical ones left?
Not many.
Go get them, people. These are in add-ons, yeah?
Add-ons, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I only have a handful of them, so I can't have them in both places.
Right.
And then we got some of the stuff that we did with Aspen, the Nii Rufino covers, and then the puzzle cover at the bottom that Viken Marion did.
Oh, cool.
All goes together there.
That's cool. I want to do that someday, where it's like all four of the covers create something.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have to have one artist do them all, yes?
I mean, ideally, yeah. Ideally, yeah. I've seen ones that are different artists where like one artist will do the first one and then just like lay out the rest of it. Like it's called like a jam piece, and then you'll take it to somebody else. Like, okay, well, like Viken did Critter, but like Ryan Otley, I want you to do Rookie, and whoever do this. So you can do that. You can do that.
Okay.
But I think when you're doing a connecting piece across covers like that, I think it's probably better to have one artist do it. Yeah. Because it's just more really consistent.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I kind of like the idea of a jam piece too, where it's like you said, have the first person maybe do your main character and like the base, like for in this one example, the house and like anything that they're standing on. Yep. So it's all one style, and then it's like, okay, I need you to do this character on this one, this character, etc.
Yeah,
interesting.
There's no wrong way to do it.
Taking notes. All right, and then we're to the bottom of the page. All right, let's go shopping, people. Let's see what do we got. $8 Critter Digital Edition. So this is and I have to ask this. Why do you always tote that Critter is the second best superhero comic?
Because Robert Kirkman on his Invincible book was for not for the whole time, but for a period of time, he marketed himself and Invincible as the best superhero comic book in the universe. And so I said, well, if he's the best, then we're clearly the second best.
Okay. So I was like,
and then that just played into all the marketing of the book. I mean, because the book is just goofy, fun superhero stuff anyway. So and that just led into marketing of all kinds. It was just like, so like what we do with all the variant covers, we on day one, we do logo version. Everything's virgin covers, but we do logo versions on them. So like, on the Nosferatu one, it had her logo at the top, Nosferatu, and then at the bottom it says the second best blood-sucking superhero in the universe. So that kind of stuff.
It's a running gag.
So it's a running gag now. Yes, correct. Yes, yeah, yeah.
If you are watching and you want to go shopping with us, here's the linky loo, or just go to Kickstarter and type in Critter, and this will pop right up because it's live. It'll be the first thing that shows up. Look for
And
Critter
yes,
number
Lou,
25.
the Electric Youth is a Debbie Gibson song, 100% a Debbie Gibson song. Yes.
Yeah, she knows. She was just saying that's per Debbie. You can't fight it, live by it. The next generation, it's electric.
And there's another Debbie Gibson character in the book.
We talked about that. Did you find him? I can't remember.
Do you know what it is?
We talked about it. You told me, but now it's like I have a memory of a goldfish, but we talked about it for sure. So I bet you if I went back and reread it, I would remember.
So there's another Debbie Gibson song that is a character. I also have a character that is just
one. Yeah. The bank robbery.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I remember.
And then I also have a character that's just straight up named Tiffany.
Yeah, that one.
Just I didn't even like hide that. It's just like it's Tiffany.
It's funny.
So there's a lot of myself and my pop culture love of things in all of the stuff that I do in one capacity or another. Awesome. So yeah, it's whatever you read, you're gonna get a little insight into me as well as what I'm actually writing about. So
well, that's good because usually I giggle when I read your books for different reasons, depending which one I'm reading. Although I don't think I giggled. I did not giggle in Legend of Oz. That one was a great read, but it was a more serious read. But
it's got a tone to it. Yeah. There's moments in time where we, have a little fun, but it's it definitely knows what it's doing and doesn't really deviate too much out of its understood, sort of tone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Compared to like Princesses versus Zombies.
Of course.
I giggled a lot.
Well,
I shook my head and questioned your life choices, not mine, yours.
Yeah. I'm bringing PVZ back this October as well.
Levi was out looking for the perfume by Debbie Gibson. Apparently there is one. I'm sorry.
Oh, it was me. Oh, okay. So there we go. So there's a perfume too, but that was not where the name came from.
It was just funny.
Yeah.
What were you saying? Sorry.
So Princess versus Zombies we'll be doing as part of the BD15 anthology this year. And we're gonna do a little backstory on Pocahontas.
I write zombie stuff too. I know you tapped me for Western, but I'm just gonna throw my hat in that ring too. I'm just saying. Anyway, continuing on. I think that one's already probably in the works.
Everybody has. I've had so many people being like, "I want to write Pocahontas." I'm like, "Nah, before I do."
Oh, damn it!
You don't get to do that.
I can't compete with the Tom on it. I'm like, I'm writing this one. I was like, all right, fine. That's funny. But I mean, that's kind of how it goes. Like, I'm going to write what I want to write, guys. And you can pick, you might have the option to do this one. Right. Fine. All right. What do we got next? Critter 25 15-year anniversary logo. So this is anniversary cover on the 25th.
That's just your basic logo cover.
Yeah.
Again, everything else we do is virgin covers. We put all the information on the back. So it'll say, art by Pedro Perez, Critter 25, limited to 100, whatever. We put all that on the back of the issue so that you can hear. In fact, no, I don't. No. Yeah, I do. It looks like this.
Yeah. I got one like that. Cool.
But that way we can keep the front covers clean. Because people like to grade them and frame them and just display them, and I'm like, you don't need all that logo nonsense all over your books. So we just do everything virgin. Yep,
that's cool. Yeah, and it's like they're $25 with the shipping included.
Yeah, $25. That includes your shipping. That includes your shipping
and digital.
And we have the stretch goal at 9,000, which we should hit pretty easily.
Where did you have that on your page? No, is it this one?
Yeah, it's up there, right there. Yep. So we have
everybody.
We always do Bunley Young magnets. He's been doing these Chibi-verse magnets for us for years. So that's
I didn't get my Allison one.
So that's Pincher. She's the start of our dog group of people. And then if you're spending $75 or more, you get a bonus unlocked item, which is an acrylic standee of the Pedro Perez critter figure.
I want those too. They're super cool. I had someone, Vaughn Fox, who is a creator out here in Texas. He writes a series called Murder Face. who is actually, it's really funny. Do you need to go get your door? Is that your door?
So no, I was getting these. Here's.
Oh yeah, look, see, they're so cool. And I was like, man, I want to do these.
So that's Pincher.
Okay. You got them already. Those are amazing. Bitchin'.
Bitchin' LLC.
Ah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Also funny. I have to share a short story. So I do martial arts. Long story short, there's this group called Dog Brothers that does martial arts. And in order to be a full member of this group, you have to go to the group meeting. So they meet every year and they do some sparring. So you have to spar full contact with weapons. And I think the initiation, you have to survive like 3 or 4 rounds. I think they're short though. I think they're 1-minute rounds, but with 4 different people. So you get a fresh opponent every minute, right? And so you're tired by the end. But it's like the guys' names are all like Crafty Dog and like Senior Dog and da-da-da. But the girls' names are like so-and-so bitch. And I was like, how's that fair? And I was like, I don't want to be known as, crafty bitch. Like that's not, I don't know. Anyway, they didn't listen to my petition.
Well, this is one of those things that, again, it's sort of like it just happened.
The dogs?
The dogs.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got cats. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, it happened. It was a weird sort of series of events. Because I've always wanted to do, and the only reason I'm not doing it is because of Robert Kirkman, bastard.
You're like, don't want to get sued.
I was always a fan of the Serpent Society in the Marvel Comics. Captain America. I used to read Captain America, Serpent Society. So all the snake guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was writing Critter, I didn't have a specific, like, I want these snake guys in here. But in my head, I was always like, yeah, at some point I want to like just do like a little tribute to the Serpent Society and bring these snake guys around, whatever. And then Robert Kirkman does it. And he makes a thing called the Lizard League.
Yes, he did.
And I was like, God damn you, Robert Kirkman. He and I are so weirdly parallel on like what we do with superhero stuff. There's a lot of stuff that he did. He even did an Invincible verse where there's different versions of Invincible and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I was doing right from the beginning of my Critter thing, but our universes, our parallel universes work differently. So that's fine. Mm-hmm. But every time I would read Invincible, I'd be like, this guy is doing what I'm doing, but he just has a 10-year head start on me. Because he started way back in the day.
Well, and a lot of times it's like you're having the idea and then they release it and you're like, fuck.
Yeah. And you're like, now I got to make another perfect example is originally Critter, her ears and her tail were going to be like hologram, like light hologram things with that, but it had texture. And then J. Scott Campbell releases Wildsiders. And that's exactly what he did. He had these hologram thing. I was like, son of a bitch. So yeah. So anyway, flash forward to now. I started to think about like, well, let me think about these snake characters. How could I do it that it would be different? Like, what would be the best way to go? But then but something triggered me where, and to be perfectly honest, I think bitchin' was where it came from.
Yeah.
I saw somewhere that popped into my head and I was like, dogs.
Cats and dogs. Yeah.
That was it. And I was like, cats and dogs.
Like, fighting like cats and dogs.
Maybe this is the more obvious way to do this. And then it went from bitchin' to being a company, Bitchin' LLC,
which is hilarious.
Yeah. There's nothing serious about any of this.
No.
And then when we did the BD14 anthology, that's where Pincher shows up for the first time.
She's in the Blue Jay story?
Yeah. No. In the Critter story.
One. She's in the Critter one. Yeah.
She's right there.
That's right. So I was like, it's just for one. It was like a couple panels where she's already caught, right?
Oh yeah, she just gets ass whooped. Yeah, she's just like, oh my god, there's like a bad guy, and then like she's just taking care of.
Yeah, it's like, wait, I don't remember her being like.
And then so in the next, so when we do Critter 20, this Critter 20, or sorry, no, Critter 25, or sorry, 24, 24. Okay. Pincher's in there again, and we get a little more of her. But I have now a thought process of like, okay, what is she? What is she doing? Because in that BD14 story, Electric Youth is talking about, there's a few of these dog characters that are popping up, like around the city or whatever. So I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be nonsense. I'm aiming for this to be nonsense. It has a little mix of for you wrestling fans, it has a little mix of Chris Jericho from back in his day with WCW, when he used to lose his title. Like he would get beaten for his whatever title he had, like the US title or whatever. And then he'd come out on the next show with like all the rules of things. Like this is how this works. This is how this works. This is how this works. And he'd be like, and I did not get beaten based on these rules, blah, 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 blah. And then they'd give him the belt back. Because, he would argue that he didn't lose and he'd get the belt back. So we're combining Chris Jericho and superheroes and the idea of like business, I never liked like the government sanctioned superheroes. Like I've never liked that, but to have them be like, not just like, hey, we're like a group of bad guys and we're doing stuff, but like, no, we're LLC. We're an actual group. We're a real thing. I thought that would be really funny. And I found some ways to kind of build that story up. And so I think it'll be fun. So you'll see pieces of this through the Critter, story. And then eventually it'll probably end up getting its own book, like in not its own book, but like part of the BD16 anthology or something. You get a more specific, like this is where we are now thing. But it was really fun. And Narcisio Sousa did a great design for her.
Why is she? Well, she has to be blonde. I was like, of course. She couldn't have dark hair because then the ears would get lost. The mask would,
That's exactly right. That's just design, folks.
Yeah.
Design.
I was like, but it's super funny to see like a blonde Pincher.
So he did a great job, and he's going to design some more dogs for me. My at the time that we were doing this, my search.
Look. You need that superhero LLC to limit the liability to all the destruction they leave in their wake.
So
Chris, that's it. That's Chris.
my search history is filled with like
what
dog masks and BDSM masks and stuff, because that's what all this stuff comes from, So it's like, so I've got like dozens of like references of how they make these masks. So now when we go and do more, each one will kind of be a little bit different, so they're not all, because like this one, it's like a Doberman Pinscher. It's like it's got the longer snout and stuff.
Right. Pointy ears.
But when we do the other dogs, we want them to kind of have a sense of the dog itself. So
you're going to have a pug. They can't run as fast as the other ones because they can't breathe. Oh my goodness. That can go a lot of and I bet you your Amazon not your wish list, but we know when Amazon like suggests things for you, it's all askew at the point. You do research for books, and then Amazon is like, do you want this BDSM mask? And no.
Yeah. Well, that happened on Facebook for a long time. I had gone on to like, I'd seen something that I clicked on for like a clothing design or something. And then all of a sudden it was like, do you want to be a sexy cow? Like, I'm like, what are you talking about? Why am I getting these ads? Like,
that was your Moo whatever cover. What was it?
Yeah. Moo J. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. But I just started getting inundated with all of these like cosplay things of like, you clicked on that. So clearly you want to dress like a cow or like a cat or like whatever. And that was my whole Facebook feed of just ads, was just like,
and you can
clearly you're a TikTok dancer.
Come on the Karen show.
Buy these things. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But whenever I click on comic book stuff, I don't get comic book ads. Like, what the hell's going on?
It's just not fair. It really isn't. And when I do my research, the FBI shows up. Just kidding. I'm just kidding, everybody. It's not that serious. All right, so let's continue shopping. Change the subject. Please don't show up, FBI. If you're listening. My NSA agent is probably upset that I called him. Hey, Joe, what's up, man? How are you? Nice to see you. All right, so you do have Camp Crossover available here. It's fish all the time. Yeah, same reasons. Don't click on the things. It's always funny when you get someone that doesn't understand the algorithm, where they're like, how come all I get are pornography and guns in my feed? And you're like,
because that's what you're clicking on.
I was like, I don't get that in my feed.
Or that's what you're talking about at your house. Like that's happened to me too.
Right.
Like the craziest one was I have never in my life like tried to click on or buy like anything from the Rocky movies, right? You know, the Stallone movies. Mm-hmm. And so one day I'm watching Rocky 4 and I turn on my phone and my phone is filled with Rocky stuff. Like, yo,
I mean,
that's not sus at all.
No, and I mean, like for a long time, I think it was just like we all knew that it happened, but no one really confirmed. But they confirmed it that like iPhones listen to you all the time.
We listen to you all the time.
Yeah.
So maybe Ed Wood blonde bob wig, Ed Wood blonde bob wig, Ed Wood blonde bob wig.
I was going to show them my feed too. Damn it.
Maybe they'll find me the wig that I need. You know.
There you go. You don't want to borrow the Karen wig? I can send it to
you. It's not curly enough.
It's not. Well, you can curl. Well, you would need a curling iron.
I have no idea what any of those words mean.
You have to style it, sir.
Oh no, it needs to be styled. It needs to come to me already ready to go. I need to put it on my head and just be like, that's it. I'm done.
Oh, fish. I didn't even think about that. Well, I mean, like you have to do historical. I do historical, research all the time, but that's no good. All right. I'm still scrolling because we're still shopping. We got a lot of options at the $40 level, which is the hollow foil level.
Yep. That's all the foils. All the foils are 40. All the metals are 75. They are all printed to order.
It's a quick catch up. That's 50. That's great. Team up is 60. And then, we're into the metals. How many tiers do you have?
I don't know.
I'm going to compare you to Corissa. More or less than Corissa on that scale?
There's a bunch, but a lot of that's just because, we've got the duplication of the foils and the metals.
Yeah.
That's really all that is.
I'm teasing you.
But you can get all of that stuff just as a regular book if you want the regular book.
Complete collection. Can't talk today. 9 lives combo pick. What's your favorite tier? What's your favorite one?
The most expensive. I mean, obviously, right?
Whatever. Never mind. Forget it. I mean, obviously support Tom, but I mean, like you could always go like, I really like my t-shirts. I like making t-shirts for people. So I did like 5 new t-shirts for my next campaign, which is a little excessive, but
I'm an art guy. So, that's why we have, a whole bunch of art covers. We like to bring different styles. We like to be able to bring different artists on. And, right now we're building the Penny for Your Soul one for March, which has just like mind blowing art right now. I can't even believe I'm getting some of these people to do work for me.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's crazy. It's just crazy.
Weren't you going to show some things?
Nope.
Yeah. You said you were going to spoil things on my show. I want exclusives.
I spoiled some things.
No, you did not.
Nobody knew that Pocahontas was going to be part of the thing.
Okay, well, I'll take it.
We talked about all kinds of Easter eggs and stuff to look for.
I know, but like you have been posting about all this amazing stuff that's coming and people that you haven't announced that are attached doing, basically make your eyes melt out of your skull art. I would really like to know and see and understand what's coming, but keep your secrets. Fine.
Yes. It's not time for that.
It'll all be
not time for that yet.
Eventually. Are you coming back on in March?
No, because you don't have any March shows.
Oh, that's right. I don't.
Yeah.
It's
if
hard.
you get a cancel, you can always tell me. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. But then we'll be back in May for Goth Day. And then we'll be back in June for the Shark Book.
I'm excited for both of those. Well, I think the first time you came on the show was the other Goth Day. And I was like, what is this? And I had no idea what to expect from you on that show. And it was awesome. I really enjoy how you pay attention to the calendar and work it into things. Yeah. Tom, I'll sell you my March spot. Some money. Yeah, it's a marketing opportunity right there. And Lou, if you get advertising for an Ed Wood blonde curly wig, go ahead and send it to Tom.
Just forward it to me.
Yeah,
just forward it to me.
We're gonna make that happen.
But yeah, so this will be our last Goth Day book too. We're gonna wrap the series.
Oh no!
Yeah, so it'll be kind of an oversized finale that I'm doing with CB Zane. So yeah.
Is there another holiday that you're going to zero in after? Goth Day is pretty specific.
I mean, Goth Day conceptually will always be with us because catnip still exists. So we have plans to sort of continue the tradition, but it won't be like Goth Day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
But when we get a little closer to that plan, we'll let you all know. But this will be we've used these what will be 4 issues to sort of build the world that this stuff exists in. And so now the next step would be to start to kind of be a little more specific in our storytelling versus just kind of jumping all over the place. Because all the Goth Day books are sort of their own book, in order to build the world. There's really no continuity to it. Other than little tiny things like in the last issue, they reference things like the ghost, which is Naomi, and they reference the cat, which is Catnip, but it's not a direct story continuity. So we're just kind of setting the stage with it, and then we can start to become a little more specific with what we want to do with it.
All right, so right now is Critter 25.
Yep.
March is
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. Okay.
Valentine's Day is a 3-day special
3-day campaign.
Yes, it's a so like we did with the Nia Rufino one in January, except that was 24 hours. So this is going to run for 3 days.
You're the only one I know that can get away with doing stuff like this.
So this will be a Keith Garvey Lingerie Wars Cupid special.
Okay, that's when that makes sense now.
So that's Valentine's Day.
Lingerie War is great.
Yes.
So that's
So
February.
there'll be 3 versions of that book. There's the army version, there's a lingerie version, and then there's a nude version for that. Yep. God forbid Cupid gets her boobs out.
Dare you?
And then March is the actual Penny for Your Soul book.
Okay. Woo!
And then April, is it April?
There's something.
No, I don't think we have anything in April.
What? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then May is Goth Day.
Yep.
And then June is a short campaign for Ursa Minor and Blood Donor Day.
Okay.
And then a week after that ends, like at the end of June, June 22nd, that's the 50th anniversary of the release of Jaws, the film. And that's when we launch It's Only an Island if you look at it from the water. So that'll run June 22nd into July. So we kind of have that Jaws time period there.
Nice.
Yeah.
June, July, August.
August, there's nothing, and then September is Book Fair Day. Is Book Fair week, whatever. So Book Fair will be back. We will have all of our books available just like last time. But this Book Fair is also going to have the Legend of Oz Omnibus as the new product. So we're going to take the first 4 volumes of the book and put them all into one giant 400 and some odd page omnibus. Brand new cover by Nia Rufino, which is mind blowing what she did. And so that'll be the new product. So last year, the new product was the mystery envelopes with Schoolgirl. And then we just sold our catalog the rest of the way. This time will be the omnibus plus the catalog of all the other stuff.
I need the omnibus. I need it.
Yeah. So there'll be a hardcover version and then there'll be a softcover version. So depending on price points and, you know, budgets and everything, we'll have something for everybody.
You know, I make my own covers too. So.
This is true. Yeah.
I think I don't want to rip off the cover though. No, I want to learn. This is another skill I want to learn, which is making a dust jacket.
Oh yeah, sure.
Something that could go over, you know, like it's a soft cover, but it's a hard cover that goes over and just slides on.
Yep.
No, I'm not ripping off beautiful art because when I ripped off the cover of my own trade, I felt terrible. Right? It was painful. I fell down and cried. So I don't want to necessarily do that all the time. I like the art, so I want to keep it and just slide a thing over. So
yeah,
that's my that. And so October. Do you have plans out this far?
Yeah, October is the BD15 anthology.
Okay.
And that's where we'll have
Pocahontas.
Yeah, I forgot the other two now. What the hell is going on? Oh yeah, no. Sorry. So it's Nosferatu. She's getting her own story, the vampire critter, which we're actually working on some character designs for the background characters. So Nosferatu gets her own story. Pocahontas will be getting her story, and then we're introducing a brand new book called the Amityville Sorority Sisters.
Oh, did we talk about this? I think
not really, because it's been
mentioned it.
It's been mentioned, but we haven't gotten.
Yeah, but we haven't got into it.
So it's going to be this story will be the starting point for what we're going to do as sort of a imprint with Big Dog Inc.
Okay.
Going into the sort of the grindhouse style storytelling, like going back to like 70s and 80s, just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're going to, at least I'm going to attempt not to hold back on, you know, violence and gore and just go crazy with it while having a fun story. So it's also very Quentin Tarantino.
Yes.
Particularly in the dialogue sense. At least I hope so, because I'm really coming at it from sort of his angle of things. This is the thing. I'm not really a Tarantino fan in his films, but what he does do really, really well, almost across the board, is dialogue. And yeah, but not in all cases, but in a lot of cases. But and so I kind of honed in on one specific thing that he was doing that I was like, God, this is great dialogue, but this movie is shit. And so I'm hoping that I'm going to give better story with, you know, that sort of type of dialogue that goes with it.
Got it.
And then of course, you know, like it'll lean into, you know, like all the grindhouse stuff that I want to do. So the Amityville Sorority Sisters will start there, but then that will actually become a bigger book. Maybe next year, I want to do an actual full-sized book with Amityville Sorority Sisters next year.
Cool.
But that's not just a book that I'm just want to release. That's actually sort of an idea, a concept, and an event that I want to wrap around it.
Event.
Yes.
You see, well, you'll have to tell me more about it the next time you come on, because we're running out of time, which is crazy. Then a 2-hour show that we run out of time to talk about
just
things.
Do 3 hours. That's fine.
There's shows that come on after me, dude. But I'm excited for that. I love, you know, I don't know if you know this, but I love horror.
Mm-hmm.
I like Quentin Tarantino-esque. I'm always interested to see what he does. I'm not always on board with some of the things that he tries, but I applaud him trying it because it's different. Like his Grindhouse, the double, what do you call it?
Death Proof.
It was Death Proof and Planet Terror.
Yeah.
I have feelings about that, right? But it's funny, but I was just talking about those two with my husband, and I was like, it's different what they tried to do.
Yeah.
And you know, I would like to see them do it again to maybe do it better the next time.
I totally agree. Yes.
But I think the idea was really great. So that would be cool to see that kind of come back and have a resurgence. The dialogue, I don't know. Quentin Tarantino. Sometimes they just talk way too much, and I'm like, I don't care anymore. Someone fucking
do something. Somebody has to do something.
Yeah, do something. And then they break a real guitar on set and have a headache. Hey, Grey Wolf showing up right at the end, dude. I love ya. Thanks for your support. So yeah, that's the show, guys. There's more that that took us to October. You got stuff planned for November and December, yes or no?
No, I don't think there's anything in November or December. But we already have 2026.
Oh my God. I was so excited for you to like sleep through the holidays, but you're like, no, I got
the holidays are just prep time for January.
That's what I was like. I know better now, where it's just like, no, I might not be doing stuff where you can back it, but we're still working. So yeah. Oh, I admire the grind, sir. I really do.
Yeah, especially with the Amityville event. If this goes off the way that I think it can go off, it could be a huge thing in the comic book sort of community industry. I'm going to be at C2E2, by the way, which has just been confirmed. I'm going to be at C2E2. It looks like Jesse Witchman's going to be there with me as well, sitting in. So come see us for the 15-year anniversary. But I'm going to talk to him about this plan I have, because he and I are on the same wavelength for this kind of stuff. I'm going to kind of get his feedback, and then we'll see where it might be able to go. But I think it could be really, really awesome. If I'm not missing something. And so I'm gonna let it bounce off of some people's heads and get some feedback.
Well, I look forward to seeing its what do I want to say? How people receive it. Because that's something that I think could really make a difference. Just because it hasn't really been done, or it isn't being done now. So I like seeing new things, and like it'd be a great way to kind of pave the way for more horror and grindhouse kind of approach to comics, which would be fun.
Yep. But it's not just the comic.
No.
Key piece is the presentation that I have in mind.
And I can't wait to see what's in your brain. If you need some depravity, I'm welcome. Show up in my DMs. I'm pretty depraved. I can help you there. All right, everybody. Just a reminder to go support indie. Hey, we've got a few backers. One more $1. Someone go back $1, please. Because my OCD is bothering me. So we take it up to 6,500, and I would be very happy. So thanks again for coming on the show. We'll be seeing more of Tom Hutchinson. We might have to pass the crown to you in 2025. Although Corissa might show up at your house to fight you if that happens. But thank you, everybody, for watching. We will see you next week. Who we got next week? Greg Moquin is coming on next week talk about his series. That's his Seer Nova, the Seer Chronicles. So he'll be on. And I'll be live on Saturday. So maybe we'll be funded on next week's show. We'll see.
Yeah.
I love you guys. Love you guys. And kiss your babies. Be excellent to each other. We'll see you next week. You want to say one last word, Tom? I'll let you.
Bitchin' LLC.
Oh, Lord. Oh, I didn't set the outro. All right, I'll go down here. Bye.
Click on the tube and feel the vibe. Every show you crave right here live. Heroes and villains clash in the night. Madness Comic Network sets it right.